Hi, welcome to the Zipline. I've got a great show here today. As always, we're showcasing Indiana businesses, Indiana technology businesses that are really making a difference nationwide. I'm very blessed to have a great friend on, Jason with Providence GIS. Jason's the CEO, been a friend of mine now for going on 5 years. And Jason's got a very unique value proposition. What he is doing is helping municipalities and really other organizations like that leverage GIS really into a business intelligence suite. Isn't that what you're doing, Jason?
Absolutely. We're really creating what they call a platform so that it's much more than just a software solution, but it's really an organizational platform where we're leveraging software to become a more efficient. We're maximizing workflow to maximize the value of the investment in that investment in GIS.
Really, your motto is that GIS is just more than a map, and really that's expanded to mean more and more. How are you helping these municipalities and these other organizations use it to be more than a map?
Well, basically, what in the past, the old school or the old way of thinking about GIS was as just a mapping software. But what it really allows you to do is to connect all these different data sources into a uniform communication where you can transmit data across a full organization in a matter of seconds or minutes, and where you can create reports that used to take 3 to 4 weeks to collect for, say, FEMA. Now it can be at the end of the event. You can create all those reports, and it can be done as part of an end of the day process. And instead of spend all those man hours,
Yep.
to do that before. So now all those people have all that information at their fingertips. So now that even the CEO, the superintendent, whomever can gather all that information in a matter of seconds and be able to make quicker and faster, more wise decisions.
So these utilities, these organizations like this, they've had access to this data for years.
Yeah.
They really just don't know how to make that data work for them, and I think that's really like you are a lot like us as a company, and it's not that you've invented this technology. It's not that you are really building software. It's the software exists and these data exist, and you're helping organize that. You're helping really kind of translate that into business results. I mean, isn't that what you're doing?
Absolutely. We're here to really help the individual employee to be more efficient with their job so that and be safe. So even if a crew is out on a line somewhere or out on the construction site, the information that's getting shoved to them is going to help them to be safer. And at the end of the day, the customers will be happy as well because they're getting their service back on faster, regardless of the type of utility that you're dealing with.
Right. And I think what's also powerful about your model and what you guys are doing to go to market is that you guys are expensive as an individual for these utilities or these municipalities or these other organizations to buy and keep on payroll. But as a solution combined with that technology, your knowledge can be very cost effective in delivering the impact those technologies make. Is that right?
Yeah, for somebody like me to be a full-time funded employee, fully funded, it's cost somewhere around $86,000. That includes your vacation, your health benefits, the whole shebang. But for us to come in and do that, you got at least a 53% savings. At least a 53% savings, if not pushing 60 or 70%, if we come in and be that GIS person for that organization.
So you're also bringing the best practices from repetitively solving those problems and providing perspective of having dealing with multiple clients in order to see how to fix those problems over and over and over in those different environments. And that perspective makes you dynamically more effective than that $100,000 a year resource. So you get like the best of both worlds. And you guys have packaged that in some unique ways. Talk to me a little bit about that package.
Well, that packaging can be numerous different ways depending on the organization and what fits and what makes sense. We can either be a bi-monthly, retainer where you're paying us, so much money per month, or You can buy blocks of hours depending on what you need. So if there's an organization it's a really small organization,
Yep.
and say they only need 300 hours of work per year, well then it makes sense. Let's do the 300 blocks of hours, and you're even saving even more percentage. You're getting into the 75 to 80 percentile range
Now,
for that savings.
now, Jason, you talk about savings. Now, what are some of the business cases? What are some of the benefits that they get besides savings of money for the resource that you guys? What are some of the insights and impact you're making in these organizations?
Yeah, going back to those reports, if you have an employee who is making say 15 bucks an hour,
Mhm.
and they take 4 weeks to create a report for FEMA, how many hours per day are they working on that for 4 weeks?
Mhm.
Are they spending 40 hours total, 80 hours total
Mhm.
for those 4 weeks at $15 a clip?
Mhm.
Or if they have this technology and this platform in place, and they take 1 hour to press a button, organize it all, make sure everything is correct, and send it out the door.
Yep.
That there is, it's 1/80th of a cost, versus you're saving, 99% right there from what you were spending before on those reports.
And really, it's really there's part of that is education and like what tools they have available. Part of that is knowing where those data points are in order to bring it together as a solution. Part of that is understanding how to implement and to provide that report back to them. Part of that is knowing their business processes and understanding how those business processes can come together to create that solution. I mean, it's really the new model of consulting. It's that blended solution of having the tools and having the consulting, the know-how, and the knowledge of the business process in order to provide back a real solution. That's what you guys are doing, isn't that true?
Absolutely. So what we try to do is what we want to do is come in and do what we call the free analysis,
Mm-hmm.
where we come in and we do an initial, just sit down, tell us about your pain, tell us about, what are your current processes are going on.
Right.
And then we come back to you and say, okay, we've taken all this information, we've created a report. Now let's tell you how GIS can be used in your organization to become more efficient and to maximize your workflow so that you can maximize the investment in GIS.
That,
And there's no cost to that. It's just saying, here you can do, this is what you can do with it. Now, what's your next step?
so Jason, you've really picked up and become that new breed of technology companies that are using tools, understanding the business processes, and really wrapping that together with consulting in order to become a solution that dynamically makes impact in that organization. Is that kind of a good way to wrap it up?
Yep, it sure is. Exactly. We're not here to reinvent the wheel, but we're here really, I can't stress it enough, to improve those workflows that are in place now, but using GIS to improve them,
Right.
so that you really maximize that $300,000 investment that the utility has made or the organization has made in GIS,
Right.
but that you really use that to maximize their workflows.
Right. So now, how did you guys get started? I want to talk a little bit like this. You didn't come in from the consulting and the technical side. You were on the street. You were using this stuff, and that's really where you got your you guys broke in, so to speak.
Right. And so I used to work for Anderson Municipal Light and Power.
Mhm.
And so what I really wanted to do, my vision for the GIS at Anderson was to really create this platform where we're tying in not only the mapping data and the facilities, but we're tying in outage management systems. We're tying in AVL, which is GPS in the vehicles, so we know where those vehicles are located at all times. We're tying in IVR, the interactive voice recording. We're tying into the outage management system. We're tying in data coming from the meters real time, and we're tying in the billing and the assets at the same time.
Mhm.
So we have this cross generation, or this cross connection of data between all these different data silos, where they really start working with one another, so that even a customer service rep can, when they're entering a phone call in from a customer, that information not only stays with her,
Right.
but it goes to the operations supervisor, it goes to the superintendent, and then it ends up flowing out to the guys in the field. So then when we have an outage, those guys, we know where those guys are at. So when we throw in a fuse back into our line, we make sure those guys are clear so they don't get electrocuted.
Right.
And then we can really save some money and time with how we leverage our resources during an outage so that the outage is actually shorter, which gets the power back on and the meter's turning, which is going to put more money back into the pockets of the utility.
So you lived that, you breathed that, and you knew that that opportunity existed out there, and that's really what's, that for sure, entrepreneurial fire is what drove you to start Providence GIS. Now, your ideal clients are municipalities, their utilities. What other kind of niches are you going after?
We're going after those rural co-ops, whether or not they're electricity, but they're gas, their water, their sewer, sanitary, those type of the organizations that are really struggling with getting this technology in and being able to leverage it. There's the bigger organizations, they tend to have somebody already on board that really knows what they're doing.
Right.
But the organizations that have not been able to find the time nor them have the full resources to have someone full time, those are the organizations that we're really going after.
Sure.
We're not opposed to. We'll help anybody that needs do a special little project to clean up some data that they need help with, and they just would like to get off their off the product timeline. But those organizations that are really struggling, knowing they need this with the federal mandates coming down for green earth and green energy and all this other stuff, we can really help those organizations with GIS. Say, okay, every year you need to show the federal government how you're being green.
Yep.
Well, let's use GIS to help you do that. So you're not spending 3 months collecting all this data at the end of the year so that you can have it for the first year. Right.
So Jason, just another example of a company that's got a greater understanding of technology than the market they're serving, using that business process, that business improvement, that collective impact that they can make with those multiple organizations to dynamically amplify the greater good for your target market. Providence GIS, right here in Anderson, Indiana, serving the nation.
Absolutely.
You've been Zip, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you.